Welcome to the Subscription Maker Podcast. I'm your host, Zachary Alexander. Today we will be talking about why it may be time to reimagine customer success programs. Now, by any means, customer success has been a hit with almost everybody. However, I'm starting to hear some grumblings from people about what they think about customer success programs and how it could be potentially be made better. So let's start with some of the reasons why you may want to re-examine customer success programs. You may want to reimagine customer success programs because they're too expensive for small companies. I mean, that becomes a problem for a discipline that's trying to grow its influence. If the only people who can benefit from customer success programs are large multinational companies or companies that are startups that have venture backing that basically don't have to worry about being profitable up front, then that becomes problematic for a customer success team. You know, they need to be able to show that customer success programs are beneficial to everybody. And one of the reasons that customer success that you would be concerned about that is delayed time to value. Whenever you're talking about doing custom design work, it takes time. You don't just throw out something, things just don't happen overnight. Custom design work requires analysis. It requires a certain amount of experimentation, a certain amount of people having to go and actually they have to negotiate what they're trying to achieve because you have multiple stakeholders and each stakeholder has their own view of the world. And when you're looking at creating a customer success program, both internally and externally, you have to be cognizant of the individual stakeholders. Customer success is a cross discipline type of discipline. It's not just one. You just don't say, okay, I'm a customer success expert and the only thing I care about is customer success. There's product design. There's uh, there's actually user design, customer experience, there's service design. So all these things, system design, all these things have to come together in order for a customer success program to be beneficial. Now, the third reason, which is a lot more nebulous, is that customer success programs need to find or discover better ways to build trust. You know, the first issue is too expensive for small companies. So that could bite you, that could actually hurt you as time goes on, because what could happen is that small companies become larger. But the people who start those smaller companies may get to a point where they start to resent the fact that customer success is only practiced in large companies. And they say, well, I've grown my company so far without a customer success program. Why do I need one now? So customer success programs need to find ways. The customer success teams, they have to find ways to build trust, even with small organizations. So what's involved in a customer success program? Basically, a customer success program works to understand the customer's goals and KPIs, key performance indicators. They have to understand what success looks like for the customers. A customer success program seeks to identify customer pain points. They seek to understand what about the processes that we have put in place is causing problems. Is it the onboarding that's not reaching everyone that needs to be reached? Is it the partnership program? Are we not putting enough effort into developing our partnership program so that the customers that come out of that program, that are generated by that program, that those customers don't actually understand what's going on with our company. They don't understand the unique benefits that we provide. Customer success programs have to also act proactively, provide guidance and support and advocacy. They've got to be upfront with taking the problems of the customers to the rest of the organization. They are the advocates for the organization. They've got to almost provide a consulting slash coaching relationship with our customers to ensure that our customers are successful with what we're providing. Now, what I'm seeing can be shown in this graph here. This is my conceptualization of what's happening in the field or what's happening in customer success teams. So if you look at this is my X-ray inflection point. So if you're looking at the diagram on the screen, what you see is you see a a line, a light line. The brightest line is what I would say is about churn. So the discussions that follow that line, that's all about churn. And you can see that it's reached this peak, but it's starting to decline. And what's also happening is that we're starting to see some splintering of the conversations. That means that our customer success teams, they may be getting tired of the endless discussions of churn and reducing churn. What I like to say is churn is stale. Churn is turned in, as a conversation. Churn is turned into that day old loaf of sourdough bread. If you look at the screen here, you can see sourdough bread. It's all crusty. Yeah, I mean, it looks kind of like, but there's no, it's not moist. You can tell it's all dry and it's all crumbly. It's hard to cut because of the crumbles. That it's old. And there's we as the customer success community, we have to find ways. We have to reimagine how our programs reach out. As customer success leaders, we have to be concerned that the conversations we're having with our customer success teams are actually on point and hitting the mark. That customer success teams aren't so jaded by constantly hearing about churn that they think of churn and they say, well, man, I don't know if I want to eat this day old loaf of bread. I may want to see something different. I've eaten this bread for 6, 7 years. All the only thing they give me is this, you know, reduced churn bread. Give me something else. Give me, maybe what we need to do is we need to shift the frame. Now, when I think about shifting the frame, what I think about is I think about like a loft in some major city, with floor to ceiling windows, and you're looking out over the skyline and you've made it. You're looking out over the cityscape. We're talking, the evening drinks where, you come home and maybe it's a beer, maybe it's a glass of wine, but you're relaxing knowing that you've made it. But I think that that's something we have to be concerned about. Given what I'm hearing in the customer success community, all may not be well. When we go back to our diagram, our X-ray inflection point, there's some issues going on. And right now, the conversation may be rewarding. The conversation may be generating additional expansion material, but things may not all be well. So when I think about shifting the frame, I say, what happens if we could move this floor to ceiling window maybe 30 degrees? So that building, that big building right there, that's just off center, maybe that building's now on the left. And we're seeing other portions of the city that we may not have seen before. That maybe by shifting the frame, not enough that actually we're disoriented. We don't want to shift the frame enough that we don't know what city we're in. We're like, hey, I was in Chicago, but now I'm in Bangalore. We don't want to do that, but we want to shift it enough that we're looking out at the same cityscape. We're saying, yeah, I see the lights, but they're different. I can hone in on that. I can see the lights. I can see where I'm going, but I'm going to a different spot. And maybe that's a better spot. At least it will keep the customer success team, at least it will keep them energized and interested. So that better spot I like to call expansion dominant logic. So expansion dominant logic emphasizes the importance of making decisions that facilitate selling more to current customers rather than relying on finding new customers. Everybody knows that expansion, everyone in the CS community knows that expansion is the best way to make money with subscription services. We all know that. You know, there's an issue with acquiring customers. The cost, the CAC goes up. The more people you actually acquire, the harder it goes. The harder it gets, the more expensive it gets. So there comes a point where you may not even be able to acquire new customers. That we just may have, depending on the market, we may have exhausted all the potential customers that are available. Doesn't happen to that extreme often, but if you're working for a car company or you're selling to a car company and there's only 6 of them, that's a potential. That's a possibility. So what we want to do is we want to emphasize the the importance. We want to talk to our CS teams about the importance of facilitating selling more to our customers. Maybe we need to expand who our customers are. Maybe it's not just the car company. Maybe it's the person who wears a shirt from the car company or buys a keychain from the car company, to use a classic example. But we need to have those discussions. We need to build more trust. We need to discover better ways to build trust. So, in closing, why do we want to reimagine? Why do we want to reimagine customer success programs? Because they're too expensive for small companies. Because they delay time to value. And that, I think, is the most important thing. For too long, we've been solving for churn. Everything, all the discussions have been about churn. All the thought has gone into how do we reduce churn. I think what we really need to do is we need to reduce time to value. We need to get there quicker. We need speed that's related to time to value. And we need to discover better ways to build trust. If this podcast interests you anymore, if this podcast has been of any interest to you, please check out some of our other podcasts on the channel. Thank you very much.